Dear students, good morning to all. Now we will going to learn about chapter 12, reproduction in plants. Okay, book page number 133. So students, all of you take your book and take your pencil. Okay, now we will going to discuss about reproduction in plants. Okay, first reproduction. What is mean by reproduction? Reproduction is the protection of new individuals from their parents. Okay, what is mean by reproduction? Reproduction is the protection of new individuals from their parents. The vegetative parts of the plant are the roots, stems and leaves. What are the vegetative parts? What are the vegetative parts of plants? Root, stem and leaves. What are the reproductive part of plants? What are the reproductive part of plants? Flowers. Flowers is a reproductive part of plant. The plants, there are two main types of reproduction. Plants, there are two main types of reproductions. What are the two main types of reproduction? Asexual and sexual reproductions. What are the two main types of reproduction? What are the two main types of reproduction? Asexual reproduction and sexual reproductions. What is asexual reproduction? In asexual reproductions, new plants without the help of seeds. Without the help of seeds. What is mean by sexual reproduction? In sexual reproduction, new plants are produced from seeds. Okay. Asexual reproductions means what? New plants without the help of seeds. Without is very important. Note this line. New plants without the help of seeds. That means asexual reproductions. What is mean by sexual reproduction? New plants are produced from seeds. New plants are produced from seeds. That is a sexual reproduction. Okay. Can you understand? Next. Asexual reproductions. What is mean by asexual reproductions? The asexual reproductions have different types of sexual reproductions. They are the vegetative propagation, budding, fragmentation, spore formation and etc. Okay. First, vegetative propagation. What is mean by vegetative propagation? In this method, new plants are produced from the vegetative parts like the root, stem or leaves. Example, if the stem cutting of a rose plant or money plant is planted in the soil, we can get a new plant. We can get a new plant. Okay, if the stem cutting of a rose or money plant planted in the soil, we can get a new plant. That's all. That is a vegetative propagation. Next, potato has a small buds called eyes. If a part of the potato with an eye is cut and planted in the soil, we can get a new plant. That is a vegetative propagation. If a pot of ginger is planted in the soil, we can get a new plant. Ginger also planted in the soil, we can get a new plant. Next, bryophyllum. Bryophyllum has buds in the leaf. Bryophyllum has buds in the leaf. If a part of the leaf with bud is planted in the soil, we can get a new plant. We can get a new plant. That is a vegetative propagation type. If a part of a cactus plant is planted in the soil, we can get a new plant. Okay, can you understand? If a part of cactus plant is planted in the soil, we can get a new plant. That is a vegetative propagation type. Okay, vegetative propagation is a asexual reproduction. Next, vegetative propagation types. All of you see this picture, students. Stem cutting of rose. Okay, next one, money plant. Next, potato plant sprouting from eyes. Then next one, ginger with new plants. This one is a bryophyllum leaf with new plants. Next one, Cactus. This one is a cactus plant. This plants also vegetative propagation type of plants. Can you understand the example of vegetative propagation? Next one, budding. What does mean by budding? What is the example of budding? Yeast. Okay, in this method, a small projections called bud is formed on the yeast cell. But the bud grows and becomes a new yeast cells. The new yeast cells also grows and produces more yeast cells. If you see the picture, yeast cell is a single cell. Cytoplasm, nucleus, vacuoles, reserve food bodies. Okay, this one is a bud, new cells. Okay, budding in yeast cells. Next one, fragmentations. Example, Spirogyra is very important. 1 mark. Which one of the following is a fragmentation example? Spirogyra. In this method, plants breaks up to 2 or more fragments and each fragment grow into new plants. All of you see this picture. Nucleus, septa, spiral, chloroplast. The fragmentation, all of you see this picture. The cut off plant, then the plant will grow. Okay, that is a fragmentation in Spirogyra. Next one, spore formations. Example, fungus, fern. Okay, spore formation example, fungus. In this method, the fungus produces spores. These spores germinated and produces new plant. Okay, these spores germinate and produce new plants. Okay, all of you see this picture. This one is a spores, sporangiospore. Okay, the sporangium. Then germinating spores. This one is a stolon. This one rhizoids. Okay, can you understand? Spore formation. Okay, listen. All of you see your book, students. Take page number 133. Okay, first reproductions. What does mean by reproductions? Already we learned 6th standard reproduction. Okay, the production of new individuals. What is mean by reproductions? Define reproduction. Okay, anyone? What is reproduction? Define reproduction. The definition of reproduction. The production of new individuals from their parents is known as reproductions. That means reproduction. The production of new individuals from their parents is known as reproduction. That is a reproduction. Okay, can you understand? Are you clear, students? Okay. Next, parts of a flowering plant. Try to list the various parts of plant and write the functions of each. Okay, most plants have root. There are 2 types of reproduction. Listen, vegetative parts, then reproduct. There are the plants have the mainly 2 parts. Okay, vegetative parts, another one reproductive parts. Which one is the vegetative parts? Most plants have roots, stems and leaves. All of you underline the word, students. First, you bracket the word define reproduction. Okay, then vegetative parts. All of you bracket the word, students. Vegetative parts. Most plants have roots, stems and leaves. These are called the vegetative parts of a plant. Okay. After a certain period of growth, most plants bear flowers. Okay, listen. It is these flowers that give rise to juicy mango fruit we enjoy in summer. We eat the fruits and usually discard the seeds. Okay, seeds germinate. The discard the seed. Okay, discard the seeds. That seeds germinate and form a new plant. Can you understand? That is a vegetative pots. Okay. So, what is the function of flowers in pots? Flower is a reproductive pots. The flowers perform the functions of reproduction in plants. The flowers are the reproductive parts of a plant. Okay, can you understand? Flowers are the reproductive parts of a plant. A flower may have either the male part or female part or both male and female parts. That's all. Are you clear? Reproductive parts and vegetative parts. Which one is the vegetative parts? Or you remember? Which one is the vegetative parts? Roots, stems and leaves. These are called the vegetative parts of a plant. Can you understand? All of you should underline the word, students. Vegetative parts. Which one is the vegetative parts? Which one is the reproductive parts of plant? Which one is the reproductive parts of plant? Flower. Very good. Okay, which one is the reproductive part of plant? Flower. Okay, can you understand? Okay, next. There are several ways by which plants produce their offsprings. These are categorized into two types. What are the two types of reproduction? All of you listen. Asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. So all of you bracket the word, students. What are the categories? What are the types of reproductions? In 2 more questions. Okay. What are the types of reproductions? Asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Can you understand? Asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. All of you underline the word, students. Asexual reproduction plants can give rise to new plants without seeds. Is very important. Asexual reproduction plants have without seeds. Underline the word. Asexual reproduction plants can give rise to new plants without seeds. Underline the word. Without seeds. Sexual reproduction. Next, another one. Sexual reproduction. New plants are obtained from seeds. Underline the word, students. Sexual reproductions. New plants are obtained from seeds. Underline the word, students. Okay, next. Now we will going to discuss about asexual reproduction. Okay. Asexual reproductions. New plants are obtained without protection of seeds or spores. Underline the word. Underline or bracket the word. Asexual reproduction. What is mean by asexual reproduction? Define asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction. New plants are obtained without protection of seeds. Without. Asexual means without, absence of sexual. Okay, asexual means absence. Okay, so without is very important one. New plants are obtained without production of seeds or spores. That's all. That is a asexual reproduction. Next, vegetative propagations. What does mean by vegetative propagation? What does mean by vegetative propagations? It is a type of asexual reproduction. Underline the word. Vegetative propagation means as a type of asexual reproduction. New plants are produced from, underline the word, students, roots, stems, leaves and buds. Roots, stems, leaves and buds. Okay. Since the reproduction is through the vegetative parts of the plant, is known as vegetative propagations. What does mean by vegetative propagations? Which parts are vegetative propagation? Which parts are vegetative propagations? Which one of the following is a vegetative propagation? Roots, stems, leaves and buds. Can you understand? Are you clear? Okay. That is a vegetative propagation. Next one. Now we will going to discuss about activity. Okay. Page number 133, activity 12.1. All of you listen, students. 12.1 activity. Cut a branch of rose, a champa with a node. Okay, this piece of branch is termed a cutting. Okay, just take a rose stem, piece of cutting. Piece of a branch is termed as cutting. The cutting in the soil. The cutting in the soil. Okay, then the stem at the branch, leaf arise. Okay, what are the cutting every day? What are the cutting every day and observe its growth. Observe and record the number of days taken for roots to come out and new leaves to arise. Okay, can you understand? Try the same activity by grow money plant. Money plant also vegetative propagations type. Okay, in a jar of water and record your observations. Money plant also that the stem also fixed in soil. Then the plants, new plants, the growing with new plants. Okay, that is a try to the same activity. Money plant also try to same this activity. Next, listen, all of you see this picture. Stem cutting of rose. Okay, all of you see this picture. This one is a rose plant node. Okay, bud in axial. The bud in the axial. Okay. The next one. You must have seen flower buds developing into flowers. Apart from flower buds, there are buds in the axial of leaves which develop into shoots. These buds are called vegetative buds. Underline the word, students. These buds are called vegetative buds. A bud consists of a shoot, stem around which immature overlapping leaves are folded. Okay, underline the word. The vegetative buds can also give rise to new plants. Underline the word, students. Vegetative buds can also give rise to new plants. Underline the word, students. The vegetative buds can also give rise to new plants. Can you understand? Okay. Next, activity 12.2. Take a fresh potato. Activity page number 134. Take a fresh potato. Observe the scars on it with the help of a magnifying glass. Okay. Then find the buds. These scars are also called eyes. Underline the word. The scars are also called eyes. Cut a few pieces. All of you see this picture. Potato plant sprouting from an eye. This one is this one part of a eyes. Okay. Cut a few pieces of potato, each with the eye, and bury them in the soil. What are the pieces? Regularly for a few days and observations their progress. What do you find? Likewise, you also grow ginger also and turmeric. Okay, this one. Potato plant sprouting from an eye. Ginger with a new plant sprouting from it. Okay. Ginger also. Listen. Ginger also likewise this method. Okay. Turmeric. Ginger or turmeric. Bryophyllum. Next one. Bryophyllum. Sprout leaf plant. Bryophyllum means sprout leaf plant. Has buds in the margins of leaves. Buds in the margins of leaves. If the leaf of this plant falls on the moist soil, each bud can give rise to new plants. Can you understand? If a leaf of this plant falls on the moist soil, okay, each bud can give rise to a new plant. Okay, can you understand? Are you clear? Okay, next. Leaf of bryophyllum with buds in the margin. All of you see this picture. This one is a bryophyllum plant. All of you see this picture. This one is a bryophyllum plant with buds in the margin. The new plants. The buds in the margin. This one is a new plants. Okay. Next, the roots of some plants can also give rise to new plants. Sweet potato and dal or examples. Okay, dahlia or examples. The roots of some plants can also give rise to new plants. For example, sweet potato and dahlia or examples. Okay, can you understand? Plants such as cacti produce new plants when the pods get detached from the main plant body. Each detached pod can grow into a new plant. Okay. Next one, plants produced by vegetative propagation. Plants produced by vegetative propagation take less time to grow and bear flowers and fruits earlier than those produced from seeds. Okay. bear flowers and fruits earlier than those produced from seeds. The new plants are exact copies of the parent plant as they are produced from a single parent. Okay. Later in this chapter, you will learn that plants produced by sexual reproductions and both of the parents. The plants produce seeds as a result of sexual reproductions. Students, all of you underline the word students. Plants produce seeds as a result of sexual reproduction. Okay, can you understand? Are you clear? Next one, budding. What does mean by budding? Already learnt about tiny organisms like yeast. Budding example, yeast can be seen only under a microscope. These grow and multiply every few hours and sufficient nutrients are made available to their remember that yeast is a single celled organism. Yeast is a, underline the word students, yeast is a single celled organisms. Which one is the example of budding? Yeast. Which one is the example of budding? Yeast. Yeast is a dash single celled organism. Yeast is a single celled organisms. The yeast have we can see only under the microscope. Okay. Next activity 12.3. All of you see your book. Activity 12.3, book page number 135. Okay. To be demonstrated by the, listen, take a piece of yeast cake or yeast powder from a bakery or chemistry shop. Okay. Take a pinch of yeast and place it in a container with some water. Add a spoon of sugar and shake to dissolve. Keep it in the warm pot of a room. After an hour, 1 hour, after 1 hour, put a drop of this liquid on a glass slide and observe under the microscope. What do you observe? You may see the formation of new yeast cells. You may see the formation of new yeast cells. Can you understand? Okay. All of you see this picture. The reproduction in yeast by budding. Yeast cell, developing bud, new bud, chain of buds. Are you clear? Okay. The small bud-like projections coming out from the yeast cell is called bud. Underline, bracket the word. What does mean by bud? The small bud-like projection coming out from the yeast cell is called bud. The small bulb-like projection coming out from the yeast cell is called bud. The bud gradually grows and gets detached. Students, all of you bracket the word students. What is mean by bud? The small bud-like projection coming out from the yeast cell is called bud. So, all of you bracket the word. What is mean by bud? Next, the bud gradually grows and gets detached from the parent cell and forms a new yeast cell. The new yeast cell grows, matures and produces more yeast cells. Underline the word. The new yeast cell grows, matures and produces more yeast cells. Sometimes another bud arises from the bud forming a chain of buds. If this process continues, a large number of yeast cells are produced in a short time. Underline the word. A large number of yeast cells are produced in a short time. Underline the word, students. Okay, next, fragmentation. What is mean by fragmentation? What is mean by fragmentation? All of you see the green patches in pond or in other stagnant water bodies. The stagnant water bodies have a The water surface area completely filled up the green patches. That is some in ponds. These are algae. Underline the word. These are the algae. When water and nutrients are available, algae. Underline the word. Water and nutrients are available, algae grow and multiply rapidly by fragmentation. Grow and multiply rapidly by fragmentation. An alga breaks up into 2 or more fragments. These fragments or pieces grow into new individuals. These fragments or pieces grows into new individuals. This process continues and they cover a large area in a short period of time. This one is a fragmentation and Spirogyra. Spirogyra means what? Algae. That's all. The algae contains contains some green patches in ponds. Okay, the stagnant water bodies. The algae have available water and nutrients. Okay, the algae have available water and nutrients. This one is a fragmentation and Spirogyra. Fragmentation. Which one of the following is example of fragmentation? Spirogyra. Next one, spore formation. The fungi on a bread piece grows from spores which are present in the air. Repeat activity. Observe the spores in cotton. Listen, all of you see this picture. Reproductions through spore formation in fungus. All of you see this picture. Sporangium, spores. This one is a hyphae. Listen, reproduction through spore formation in fern. This one is a fern plant. Spore formation bodies. This one is a spore formation bodies. Can you understand, students? Are you clear? Okay. Listen. The spores in the cotton like mesh on the bread. When spores are released, they keep floating in the air. As they are very light, they can cover long distance. Okay. The spores are sexual reproductive bodies. Underline the word, students. Spores are sexual reproductive bodies. Page number 136. The spores are sexual reproductive bodies. Underline the word. Each spore is covered by hot protective coat with stand unfavorable conditions such as high temperature and low humidity. So, they can survive for a long time under favorable conditions as spore germinates and develops into a new individuals. Plants such as mosses and ferns also reproduce by means of spores. Can you understand? Which one of the following is example of spore formation? Fungus. Okay, fungus is an example of spore formation. And then fern. Fern also example of spore formations. That's all, students. Okay, are you clear? If you any doubt, you contact with me. Okay.